So Lily and I are going to be making fresh pumpkin puree from our pumpkins, as well as some apple sauce and apple pie from our fresh apples from the orchard. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to be doing a little video right now to show you the process of preparing the pumpkins, because we don't do all the carving and all that other witchcraft stuff. And no, I didn't get sugar pumpkins that they always want to suggest, because most people don't know any better and they buy the regular pumpkins. And of course, they're using them for carving and stuff, which we don't do. However, for everyone, not just us and people that don't carve pumpkins, for everyone who buys these pumpkins, yes, you can still have fail-proof pumpkin puree for pumpkin pie filling, as well as for pumpkin bread or pumpkin soup and things like that. You still can do it even without a sugar pumpkin. And I'm going to show you how as best I can. That way your pumpkins don't just get wasted and smashed. And if you've already smashed them, please put them out for wildlife. It's very therapeutic for them. It's good for them. And it has a natural antibiotic that releases in their wildlife tummies. So here's our pumpkins. I washed them off, of course, this year. I was blessed to be able to get to a pumpkin patch with Lily, and we got to pick our own pumpkins. And if you haven't, you get them from the store. You don't have to wash the dirt off of them. I would suggest washing them anyway. But I washed them really, really good. Scrubbed them just like you would taters, you know. When you get taters, you want to make some smashed taters. I'm going to wash off our apples really good. And of course, I'll cut out any little bad spots. But I'm going to pause the video now so I can begin the process. What I'm only going to do, because it's just too hard for me to hold the camera and all that. And it takes too long for a video. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting off the top so I can take off actually, no, I'm going to leave the top because I want it to be closed in. I'm going to cut it down the side, I think. I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to cut it one more time just to make it a little more feasible. Usually cutting it in half is best. I should be able to fit each pumpkin in half, like 2 on each pan. This is parchment paper, so hopefully I can. If not, I'll have to cut it in quarters, but I think I should be able to do it. And I'm going to scrape out the seeds and the innards and the guts and all the stringy stuff with a metal spoon, because that's what works best, but you don't want to puncture the meat of it. You want to keep that on the inside of the pumpkin shell of the gourd. Okay, so we got ones that don't sound hollow, because that's the best ones to get. It's the best if you're going to cook with them. And I'm also going to save some of the seeds for planting, and the rest of them we're going to be roasting in our oven. So I have the oven at 375 ready, preheating. I'm going to prepare the pumpkins and get everything scraped out, and then I'll show you what it looks like before I put them in the oven. And I'm going to prepare the apples. I'm going to get them washed, and I'll get them peeled and ready to go, and I'll show you the process for making the applesauce and apple pie filling from chunky applesauce, because I make chunky applesauce. I use a potato masher, and sometimes I'll use my Ninja food processor, and that's what I'm going to use for my puree of pumpkin. And most likely the rest of the applesauce, I don't know if Lily would want it chunky. She probably wouldn't mind it. But that way, I mean, at least for the pumpkin puree, you guys can see the process of getting it pureed. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to get started preparing my pumpkins. Don't worry about these outside blemishes. Like this one was obviously laying on its side where we picked it up, and that's where dirt was packed on. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's not going to hurt anything. The apples, of course, I'm just going to carefully skim off little spots like that. But most of them are unblemished. They're beautiful, straight from the trees. I like to use a mix of different apples. I'm not one of those that has to have like this Granny Smith apples and all that. I don't care. I like to use a blend because it tastes so much better. And they're in a Redner's bag. Don't pay attention to that. You guys already know we went to the orchard. All right, so I will be back momentarily.